By playing through the new campaign that was added with the Warlords of New York expansion, you get some pretty cool rewards that are very strong and change up the gameplay in some interesting ways, including a cool new named item that you get after you finished it, and I also want to look at the pre-order shotgun that you could also get. So a like on the video would be nice, and let's go. I am doing a 1-week giveaway for the covered hunter outfit that was recently added to the store, so you have a chance to get it. All you need to do is follow the link in the pinned comment for a chance to win. Would be nice if you are a subscriber of the channel as well before you enter. I will announce the winner next week during the first season activity that will be going on and reach out via the mail, so good luck. Every new target that we have to kill in New York has its own skill that you can unlock after taking them out, but they also give you a high-end item that has some great talents. Like for example the Anarchist Cookbook that you get from Conley that has this pretty nice talent that gives you 18% increased total weapon damage for 27 seconds after applying a status effect. And you can easily apply a status effect with the skill that you get from killing her. She namely gives you the fire sticky bomb that after choosing a location you can detonate to set the enemies ablaze, increasing your damage then instantly. And it's pretty nice if you then also have other gear that works around increasing the damage with a status effect, like weapons with the ignited talent that lets you deal 20% more weapon damage to burning enemies, and after 4 kills you apply the burning to the next enemy too. So this sticky bomb is a great way to trigger that, although the cooldown of 60 seconds is pretty long. So I still think that the fire turret is a better option to have multiple enemies burn. But in the dark zone, I totally think that the sticky bomb is a better option. And yes, we'll talk about the explosive one in a second. First, the shock trap, because that can of course also trigger a status effect and stun enemies for a short time. You throw this one and then many traps fall in different directions. And then you have to be lucky that the enemies run into it. But when they do, they are stuck for 6 seconds. So you can easily hit their weak spot, for example, especially nice against the big flamethrower cleaners. Increasing the skill tier gives you more traps that appear per throw, a bigger shock radius, and also a longer shock duration, so then the enemies are trapped for a longer time. In PvP, the duration is by the way shorter, of course, than against AI enemies. Overall, it's a nice tool for when defending a point, although it can be hard to really trap enemies with it, so it's not very reliable if you don't have a high skill tier. You get this item from Kajika in the final mission you will do in this quest line, and by killing him you also get his awesome named pistol, the Mozambique Special, with the perfect breadbasket talent. Landing a body shot adds a stack of bonus 50% headshot damage to the next headshot for 10 seconds. Max stack is 2. So you want to do 2 body shots before aiming for the head, and really the damage is pretty incredible. And I've been using it with a shield that only lets me carry sidearms, so then you got the nice increased defense while you still have some pretty decent damage output. And using a shield is especially nice with the new Pointman Chest that you get for killing James Dragov. This namely has the perfect Vanguard talent. Deploying a shield makes it invulnerable for 5 seconds and grants 50% of your armor as bonus armor to all other allies for 20 seconds with a 25-second cooldown. And you will immediately notice this when playing in a group, because when you deploy a shield, you will then see the blue armor added to their armor bar. So it is pretty nice when playing with friends and just random other people, and it's also smart to sometimes put your shield away and then immediately grab it again, because then this effect will trigger again. I really like being the sort of tank role in a group, and this chest will totally help with that. Although you can find a regular chest that has the regular Vanguard talent and then recalibrate it and put it on another item if you want. It will then have 45% of your armor as bonus armor though instead of 50, but yeah, the difference is not that big. I by the way killed James again on level 40, and then it's not a guaranteed drop, so you only get it as a guaranteed drop the first time, and you likely after that have to farm it multiple times to get the Pointman Chest again. And man, this must be the hardest fight in the DLC when playing solo, because you will have to deal with 3 heavily armored shield-wearing enemies that will be facing you most of the times. And the idea is that you go to these miniguns that activate and then use that to break their shields. but then you are a very easy target, so you easily die. I really just ignored the miniguns when playing solo, but I did focus on the enemies that would spawn near the activated miniguns to get the shield, and at some point these enemies will not spawn anymore, so it's nice to take them out. And you can best use the regular turret and the Seeker Mine, in my opinion. A Seeker Mine to deal some damage and kinda interrupt them, and you wanna kite them then away from the turret, so the turret can shoot them in the back when the shield enemies are facing you, and then you should create an opening. Like really, with a group this fight was not really an issue, but solo it is very tough in my opinion. And when you kill James the first time, you also get the sticky bomb that explodes after detonating it. So it doesn't add the fire status effect, but it does deal some nice damage. Although sometimes it's hard to see the impact when the enemy doesn't die from the blast, because they will just not move whatsoever. I found that it was especially nice against the Black Tusk robots, that if you stick it to them and then let it explode, they can die extremely fast. So this regular version obviously deals more damage than the fire option, but it's really up to you which one you want to use. Of course, if you have a more status effect focus build, then I would recommend that you take the fire one. The final new skill that you can get is the Decoy, that as you expect creates this hologram of a division agent that will draw attention from surrounding enemies, but it will just be standing there and not shoot other enemies, and it also has a certain amount of health before it is destroyed. You can increase the health though, and the duration and the threat by increasing the skill tier, because on rank 1 enemies will easily ignore it in my experience. The 25-second cooldown is quite nice though, and just overall this Decoy can be good when fighting solo against some shield enemies to lure them in one direction so you can flank them. The enemies are just not tricked that easily, sadly, so that's a bummer. So this is a skill that you get from Theo, and he also gives you the Darkness Marksman Rifle if you kill him the first time. This one has the perfect Eilis talent, dealing 25% weapon damage to blinded enemies, and after 3 kills, you apply the blind to the next enemy you hit. And for the perk in the recalibration station, it's actually 20% weapon damage and after 4 kills. So this is quite the upgrade. So totally try and use the flashbang from the sharpshooter specialization to blind the enemies, and then you get some nice increased damage. You can also get a really nice high-end weapon after finishing all of the main story content in the Warlords of New York expansion, and this is the Grudge SMG. That has the perfect Vindictive that gives you and all your allies 18% crit chance and 80% critical hit damage for 20 seconds when killing an enemy with a status effect applied, and that's 3% more than the regular Vindictive talent. And of course you apply the status effect through the ways we talked about earlier, although there's also this new exotic holster that you should be able to get from Conley by farming her over and over again. So while in combat, this holster applies burn to enemy closest to you, and this is an image from a real Tyro Tech on Reddit who shared it. I still need to farm it, but I totally want to do it because you can totally make an awesome build around the whole status effect thing. So we'll be doing that and report back in a future video. If you pre-ordered the new expansion, then you immediately got this level 40 shotgun in your inventory called the Enforcer. It has a magazine of 8 and some pretty great damage, and also the perfect pommel. 2 consecutive body hot kills reveal the magazine and grant 40% weapon damage for 10 seconds. So that's instead of 3 that you need for the regular pommel talent. So that's quite good, especially against regular enemies that can easily die from one shot. But even if you need a few more, it can be really powerful. Because, yeah, reloading with a shotgun is of course a pain in the ass. It is just that you have to be careful that you do not take too much damage because you're too focused on these skills. I'm really enjoying the Warlords of New York expansion. The new story missions take us to awesome new locations that are really varied and add some cool gameplay twist, and I really like the boss fights too. And so far the equipment has been great as well. I still need to farm for the exotics of this DLC and the other secrets. We'll totally do that and talk about it in future Division 2 videos. So totally subscribe if you haven't already to stay up to date on the new updates coming to the game and tips for the new expansion. Like this video to support the channel, and you can watch my other The Division 2 video if it's already up by clicking on the screen. For now though, I will speak to you next time. Have fun in the game and goodbye.